to another edition of This Week Inside Indiana Softball. Will Chukerman, Coach Gardner, as always, thanks for joining me.
No problem.
A lot to get to this week. We're going to recap the biggest comeback in at least the last 20 years, 11-7 victory on Friday evening over Ohio State, and we'll get to a couple more things. But let's start off with that comeback. When you were in the dugout, the first 4 innings, only 3 base runners, but then you guys erupt for 1 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th, and then 5 more in the 7th. When you were in the dugout, were you thinking, we can do this, we're still in this?
Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, I have felt like that most of the season, and they really, the team just did a great job. They stayed composed, they kept battling, and we've battled, but we've come up short a few times, but we came out on top that time.
And let's get to Kelsey's at bat. Let's just get right there. She gets down in the count and then works it to a full count. She fouls off a bunch of pitches. I think that's been kind of the mantra of this team so far, that you guys are never out of games. You guys might fall short, but you're never ever going to quit before the game's over. And Kelsey worked that at bat, incredible. And then she finally got a pitch for the Ohio State pitcher, was just like, I'm just going to get this over the plate. And she served it up. She
certainly did. And I really felt like Kelsey was seeing the ball well. I thought she had a good weekend overall, but she just was so focused. And I really, from as soon as she started fouling off pitches, I knew she was going to get a hit. I didn't know it was going to obviously be out of the park, but it was amazing to watch.
And you were just talking about how Kelsey was locked in all weekend. We know she's a fantastic defensive catcher. That's something we see game in and game out. We saw it on Tuesday against Indiana State, throwing out a couple base runners, making a tag at home. When she's locked in like this at the plate, that just has to be an added bonus to the lineup.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's always had the potential, and she'll tell you, just like I do, sometimes, and it's not just her, it's kind of my whole team. When they're locked in, they've got everything going on, but we tend to press a little bit, and right now we just need to quit pressing, and I think that's what Kelsey's done, is she's quit putting so much pressure on herself, and really is just going with see ball, hit ball, and really she's done a good job since she's kind of made that adjustment.
And back to that game Friday, Brooke also came into relief to throw 4 2/3, giving up only 2 runs, but that came in the long rally in the 3rd inning. But after that inning was sandwiched in between some really good pitching. Laura started off that game really well, and then Brooke finished it off with a great relief appearance.
Absolutely. And Brooke's really, I think right now, just starting to come into her own and get comfortable out there. We've had to make some adjustments, obviously. We had some illegal issues, but I think for the most part, she's got that fixed. And now it's just a matter of trying to get some confidence and see good innings. That's what we need to see.
And now fast forwarding to Tuesday, that game, you guys ultimately fall 7-5, but Jenna Abraham hits a home run in the bottom or the 7th inning. And she's not a typical 3-hitter that you see a lot of home runs, huge average, lots of RBIs, but she's been doing a lot of things really well, seeing pitches, sacrifice bunting this whole season, and that's why you can afford to keep putting her in that 3 spot.
Oh, absolutely. And she's had really good at bats. And while you don't always, you're not going to get a home run and every time from her, she has that potential. And I just feel like she's seen the ball well all season. She's been very steady for us, and in that spot, you want Bree to get on, you want Bri to get on or move her over, and then Jenna's coming up with an opportunity to have RBIs. But I really feel like we've gotten some consistency throughout. Our hitting has improved every week. Now we just need to be stronger on the mound, and we've talked about that. And defensively, we need to still make some plays. We've had some key errors here and there, but for the most part, I really feel like we're battling.
Yeah. And you talk about you're not going to get those home runs, and like I mentioned, that Jenna's not a prototypical 3-hitter. You have to kind of be creative with how you construct this lineup, because there's some power top to bottom, but you're not going to get it every game. So finding that 3 and 4 hitter can be tough sometimes.
Well, it is tough, and it's tough, and we've had several people who've kind of jockeyed in and out of those spots, and obviously if we can get Karamia back in the lineup, that certainly would help. Although I'm still not convinced she can grab a bat, but she's a strong hitter for us too, and so I really feel like we've had some good things happen, and like I said, we hit so much better this weekend than we have. Now it's just really getting all the pieces put together and keeping them there.
It seems like 1 through 3, Bri, and Jenna is that 1 through 3 that you're very comfortable with, and then you're willing to put the hot hand 4th or 5th, and however that goes.
Absolutely, because hitting, sometimes you're on, sometimes you're not. And so we're really trying to, to do the things that we need to do to produce as many runs as we can. And I feel like our run production is much better right now, confident at the plate. And so we just need the other two parts of the game. And, we are a very good team. The record doesn't show it. I keep saying it,
Yeah.
but this is going to turn. And when it does, we're going to get some, people's attention.
And this weekend would be a great time to do that against the
Absolutely.
against the bitter rival Purdue Boilermakers.
Yes.
And I've talked to a couple of different coaches, and I've heard different coaches talk about rivalry games, rivalry series. How do you approach it? Because some want to say, don't look at it more than the rivalry, and then some people say it's a rivalry game. Take it like that. So what do you say?
Well, right now I say let's go out and compete.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter who's on the other side. Obviously, we always want to beat Purdue because it is our rival school. But right now I just want them to go out and compete and let things fall as they may. But we need to keep stepping up. Our circle's got to be a little bit better. Defense has got to be a little bit cleaner, and we just need to keep putting up runs because we look, we do look confident at the plate right now, and that always helps. But it's always hard when you're trying to dig out. And so this weekend, our goal is to not have to be digging out of a hole, but kind of setting the tone ourselves because we're going to hit first all weekend.
Yeah, and it certainly helps that Purdue comes into this game red hot, that you guys can kind of have a little bit more motivation to beat Purdue. You talk about that you don't want to make it more than it is, but there's going to be a little bit more motivation in the
There
players'
always
minds.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
We go up there, anytime we go up there, it's like that. Anytime they're here, it's like that. So I think just keeping it in perspective, and really it's another game, let's put things together.
And just looking at the Big Ten standings, they're right up there. And then you look at teams like Nebraska and Northwestern, who are ranked teams, but they're kind of in the middle. So it's a jumbled pack still in the Big Ten Conference.
Absolutely.
And this is as good a week as ever to get back on the winning streak.
Absolutely. That's our goal.
Good luck, Coach. Beat
Thank
Purdue
you.
this weekend.
Thank you.
And that was the 9th edition of This Week in Inside Indiana Softball. We'll see you again next week.